Hi everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV, our third live post-match reaction, and we've got Callum on, who has been brave enough to come on. I was a little bit worried that you might not come on after seeing his side.
I considered it.
I was hoping that you were going to come on after seeing his side get beat 3-0. But before we talk about the game, Callum, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Why do you love football?
What do you mean? I've been going to watch United since I was around 6-7. I had a season ticket for probably going on about 13 years now. For the past year and a half, I've been commentating on United. So, both commentated on their rise through from the Championship and the Premier League. Also done bits for online TV for BT Sports and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, first loves United, second loves just football in general. So it's nice to work in that, and obviously seeing United go up and down the country and doing something I love in commentating as well.
Yeah, and he's a breath of fresh air this season. But before we break it down from your side of today's result, what was that like watching that goal that never was against Villa? What was that like? Really being robbed there.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm not being allowed into any of the games to commentate now because there's not enough space for kind of the smaller media groups. But I mean, I was just watching it on the television, and you could, like, even from where I was sat, just watching it, you could kind of tell that it had gone in. Like I was kind of off my seat, almost celebrating. Like, I think most people could see that I'd gone in. And then you question it for a little bit, and then you're like, oh well, GDS hasn't given it, so it must not have gone in. Then you see the highlights, and honestly, I don't think I've seen a bigger shambles than that. It's so bizarre, and it's such a tough one to take as well. Because I mean, if we get that goal given, we get an extra 2 points to a level with Manchester United in fifth. We probably go into today's game with a bit more of a positive mindset. It's kind of not a low from that game on Wednesday night, but yeah, it was just a tough one to see, and it kind of just typical that it come against us. It seems to be our luck.
Newcastle fans don't like Villa, and obviously we play Villa on Wednesday night as well. But it was interesting that the referee was actually a Newcastle fan, Michael Oliver. Just to, stamp on you a little bit more, so unfortunately. But yeah, you've got to blame Hawkeye for that because that was appalling.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those ones where, like, I mean, it's the first time in, I think it's 9,000 games where that incident's happened, and I'm sure I saw something earlier on. I think it was Michael Oliver who come out and said it actually, where referees went to Villa Park quite coincidentally to check GDS out when it first came into play. And they were like doing scrums with each other, like putting the balls up the shirts, and it was still working. So I to be honest with you, seeing the statement Hawkeye come out to give after the game, it seemed a little bit, I don't know the right word, almost fake really, because if he's the first time, to be honest with you, I don't believe that. I mean, there's been no visual either of the ball over the line. To be honest, it's just been a bit of an error, and they've in terms of, like, maybe it's not honest, not working or something. But to say that there's bodies getting in the way of every single camera, even though there's seven of them, and Sky cameras are picking it up as well. I'm sorry, but that were a little bit of a farce to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. You were robbed of that as well. Let's get on with today's game. Your lineup is on screen now. Are you happy with what Wilder went with originally?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was kind of ruining and ahhing because, I mean, although Berger, decent player, I still think John Lundstram is probably the man to go for at the minute. He's got that kind of intensity at the Football League where Berger come in, it's a totally different country, totally different way of playing almost. The intensity is not the same. He's got to adjust to that, and he's obviously going to take in time. So I probably would have preferred Lundstram in there. John Fleck, obviously fantastic player, probably the best player we've got. But I think he might have been chucked in a little bit too early. I think I would have liked to see Luke Freeman in from the start. We kind of missed that player against Villa, someone who can pick the ball up, carry and drive with it and play passes through the lines, which we really didn't have against Villa. But to be honest, I think Fleck just got thrown in a little bit too early. Again, maybe the intensity from him wasn't right today. And I mean, to be fair, Jack Robinson coming had a decent game against Villa, but again, it wouldn't have surprised me if Ender Stevens come into that left centre half role and Ben Osborne out on the left hand side. But to be honest, you can take or leave with that. I think you both get advantages and disadvantages. Whichever pair you play down that left hand side, you're obviously going to miss something with Jack O'Connell either way.
Yeah, it was only one change from the Villa game, but going into that first half. You started off quite bright. I thought the first 10 to 15 minutes, and you were going down your right hand side quite a bit. And then we got a little bit in the game. You've seen Shelby have a long distance and Joe Linton flop at his chance. But do you think it was slow pace that first half? That was pretty much even.
Yeah, I'd probably say Newcastle edged it. I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I mean, the first 10, 15 minutes I thought was all Blades. Thought we were quite unlucky not to go ahead. But then after that, I think Callum saint-maximin just kind of got on the ball a bit more and started to drive a bit more. And I think that confidence in his kind of playing style rubbed off on the rest of the Newcastle team. A bit more adventurous going forward. I mean, I still don't know how Jolinton did so poorly on that one-on-one effort. That was so bizarre. I really don't know what happened there. But
that's just been editorial.
I mean, you're going through. I mean, to be honest, when looking at the game before and you see that he's only got one goal all season, I just went to my dad. He's going to score. It's going to score against us. He's just written. It's pretty much like that Villa incident. You can just tell it's going to happen against us. But I think on kind of the balance of the first half, Newcastle somewhat edged it, but it was a fairly even tie.
Yeah, I would agree, but obviously we'll have to talk about the major incident, which is Egan's yellow card. So first thing, Callum, is going back into the first half with his little scuffle with Joe Linton. Did both players really deserve a yellow card?
Not a chance, no. Chris Wilder's come out and said that him and Steve Bruce both were kind of perplexed by how there was a yellow card for either of them. And I agree with that as well, because let's be fair. It's I don't even know kind of how to describe it. It's just a bit of a scuffle. Emotions a little bit higher. That happens tenner penny in kind of the lower leagues, and you don't see yellow cards given out for that. That would poor refereeing in my eyes. You can easily just kind of de-escalate the situation without having to book anyone. And in the end, that kind of contribute. Well, it did contribute to Egan getting sent off in the second half.
You got no questions around that second yellow card, though?
You know, when I first saw it, I was a little bit potentially could that be just to kind of be both doing it. But then I've seen it back, and yeah, it is a yellow card that.
And then do you feel that was it? That was the game changer? You've got 40 minutes to, at the very least, try and get a point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking at the game, it kind of does show that it kind of did define what happened later on in the game. But again, I thought you saw the second half, the bright with the two sides. If anyone was going to kind of be on top for the rest of the game, from them first 5 or 6 minutes, I think it was until Egan got sent off, it looked like Newcastle. I think probably what was the key moment for me was probably not the red card or the Newcastle goal, but probably the Billy Sharp miss pretty much straight after.
After Saint-Maximin goal, yeah.
Still don't know how he missed that header. I mean, 99 times out of 100 that goes in the back of the net, but again, it was just another incident in the game which went for Newcastle, and it just kind of set the tone really. After that red card, we were always chasing, and especially in these times where players aren't in full fitness, chasing the ball against Newcastle, it's only going to really end up in one winner. And yeah, we're probably right.
You talk about obviously Billy Sharp-Smith, but just before that, a bit of defensive mess up there by Edgar Stevens getting his feet all mixed up. And should he be well? He should be doing better. But I know Dean Henderson's been great, and he was questioned by Sky. Does he have any fault of that?
I mean, again, it's just I don't get how Ender's done that so horribly wrong with that. I mean, saint-Maximin's probably about 4 or 5 yards behind him. He could probably take a touch and clear it. There's just, there's probably a bit of lack of communication between Dean Henderson and Ender. And I think it's just that kind of lack of minutes recently where players just aren't in kind of that match kind of zone, really. I don't know how to describe it, but he's just, honestly, he's just a little thinking back on it. It's such a poor error to make, and it's cost us dearly. And after that Egan red card, I think if you hold on for longer than 4 minutes, you can try and hold on for 10 minutes. You can kind of ride the storm and pick up from there. But to concede one soon after was poor. From United's point into conceding the way we did. To be honest with you, with Dean Henderson, I don't really think he could have done much about it. It was a decent finish from saint-Maximin.
Yeah, and that puts a 1-0. You mentioned the Billy Sharp one, but when Matt Ritchie scores from distance, are you thinking that's it? It's game over? Yeah,
pretty much. Apart from that short chance, we didn't really look like creating anything clear cut in that second half. But again, it was just, the red card again, just bringing up that, Sky alluded to it, that how Baldock was somewhat like just dropping. There was the overlap from Rose and then Ritchie coming on to him. He's kind of caught in two minds, Baldock. If Egan's in that, you've got Basham across on the cover, you can have Baldock out on the right to stop Rose. It's just that opening up of space, and that's what Matt Ritchie jumped up on. It was a good finish, to be fair. Can't really take anything away from that. And I said it at the time, again, I don't think Dean Henderson could have done much more, but yeah, he did. Just going back, that Egan red card really did change the game when you think about it more. And you were talking about, you were laughing about saying your dad that Joe Linton's going to end up scoring, and of course he does. Joe Linton gets his second Premier League, only his 4 in the whole of the season, including the Cup. But you've got to have a bad day when Joe Linton's scoring past you, haven't you? To be fair, I thought first half, apart from the miss, I thought he was doing fairly all right. Kind of dropping off, allowing space for Almiron to run beyond, and as well as saint-Maximin to drive with it. But yeah, for a striker who's only scored 1 all season, and I know we've had a bit of a lengthy break, but that still doesn't change the formula, really. Well, it does if you're Sheffield United, because you come back shockingly poor. But yeah, it was just, and especially thinking of the one you missed first half, you can't think, can't be conceding to that. It's such a poor miss. He's the confidence of the lad's going to be so low, especially from that miss in the first half as well. But to be fair, he started the move for the third one, and we didn't rest on his laurels after making a decent pass out to the left-hand side. Got in, decent striker's goal, that. But obviously for you lot, you need to start doing it more and making more of an impact, especially for 40 million quid, weren't it?
It was 40 million, yeah. Was that your worst performance of the season, Callum?
Yeah, by a long, long way. Up until this game, I probably would have said Liverpool away back in January, where we just could not get a grip hold in the game. But apart from with this, even there we had a couple of chances. But in this one today, I thought we had about 10 minutes of the game. The rest was 10, 15 minutes of the game. The rest was Newcastle. But do believe that it probably was the worst performance under Chris Wilder. I don't know whether it was desire, lack of fitness, just honestly, I can't really put my finger on it. The quality of the team was poor as well today. Ollie Norwood, who I think, up until the Aston Villa game, because I don't know the percentage-wise since then, but I think he had the second best pass completion in the top 5 leagues in Europe. And he's come back, and I don't think I've seen him give away the ball as often as I've seen him do in the last year and a half. So again, it's just kind of for us, it's kind of a momentum kind of team, momentum, and obviously that passion from United supporters. But we've just been so poor and lacklustre on the ball. I said at both the half-time and full-time whistle, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that dressing room, because I can kind of see what I'd like to see what Chris Wilder says to him, because with that poor performance, we've not become accustomed to that. We've always got high standards since Chris has come in, but we've just, the quality of the team's been poor. I don't think anyone stood out, maybe apart from Chris Basham, since we've come back, and he's just been a solid 7 out of 10 of all season. He's not let us down once.
Yeah, it's a Geordie lad that used to be on our books.
Yeah.
Let's bring up the league table then. So you've got on the positive though, Callum, you've had an unbelievable season. Look where you still are in 7th. Do you really want to get Europe? Is that a hindrance to you?
No, I think if you can get Europe, you've got to try. A mate of mine asked me the other day if the FA Cup didn't come with European football, or we can get Europe without winning the FA Cup, because we're still in the FA Cup, like you lot are as well. I would have gone Europe all day. It's such on a global scale, the club's brand grows massively, but it's just, to say we were in League One 4 years ago to moving into Champions League or Europa League places in 4 years, it'd just be incredible. But I mean, the last two results have kind of taken a knock, not just on kind of my confidence and belief in United potentially getting it, but a lot of Blade supporters have come out and kind of said, right, let's just see what we can do for this season, try and focus on the FA Cup maybe. But if we can get Europe, I wouldn't really kind of consider next season, because who'd turn down European football really? Of course, we saw what he did to Burnley a couple of years ago, what nearly relegated them. But at the same time, what an experience it must have been for Burnley to travel through Europe for however many games they did. It's just something you wouldn't forget, I don't think.
Yeah, it is tough. We had a Pardew and we struggled massively. We got the quarterfinals. We just didn't have the squad for it. Last question I wanted to ask you before we finish the video up is, are you going to get Dean Henderson once again back on loan? Because David De Gea he's pulling up loads of mistakes now for the last 18, 24 months. And do you think he'll become number one? And do you think you can get him again?
I think we'll probably end up getting him next season. I think he'll go out on one more loan spell, and then I think it'll get to a point where Manchester United and Dean have to make a decision where if I'm Dean Henderson, for example, am I going to become the number one Manchester United goalkeeper like in the 21-22 season? Or is that still going to be David De Gea? Because if it's David De Gea again, the Dino would be like 24, 25, and you still don't want to be going out on loan. You will kind of want a settled club, settled life, really. So I think he'll come out on loan for one more season. I hope it's us, and I think it probably will be us. But do I see him becoming Manchester United's number one goalkeeper? I think he could be. There's no doubt in his ability and his confidence to become Manchester United's number one. But at the same time, it's whether Manchester United kind of want like an Englishman in there. I mean, it's kind of a weird one to say, but it's understandable. We both get what I mean by saying that. Yeah, there's no doubting his ability. I think he'll go on to become England's number one goalkeeper, and he should end up being Manchester United's number one keeper. But again, it just depends on what they think from their view, from their side of things.
Should also be England's number one rather than Mackham of little. So,
no, I agree. I think he's the best English goalkeeper out there, closely followed by Nick Pope, and both of them have got the most clean sheets this season.
Yeah, Dubravka's got 11 now. Speaking of
Yeah.
Newcastle, I'll let you go. Are we safe?
Yeah, Newcastle safe all day.
Champion, that's all we need to know. Then, Callum, thank you very much. That was easy, Callum. Thank you very much for coming on. Spoke really, really well. So thank you very much for your time.
Cheers.